Welcome to the Huddle. I'm Graffice, Executive Vice President at the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. And today I'm excited to be bringing you a year in review, 2022, through the voice of our President and CEO, Michael Crawford. What do you want to talk about first? How about we talk about the assets on site?
Yeah, I think for the Village, you just have to look at the video from last year at this time to this year to see just tremendous growth. And not only growth in the context of building new facilities, but growth in the terms of having new programming, having new sporting events, having bigger concerts, having winter festivals. And so the team has done a great job, I think, in really overcoming the adversity that we've had to face in the supply chain, in the financial markets. And make no mistake, it has been a very difficult year. But when I look out and I look at the Village, I couldn't be more proud of everything that's been built. I know the experiences are coming online now, which makes me feel good. I think in another month, you're going to see more things open and ready to go. So a lot of progress, but progress in the face of adversity really has shown the character of the team, and I'm proud of what they've been able to do.
So let's break it down component by component. We have football-themed names, obviously, for everything that's on site. So let's start with the fan engagement zone. What's happened over the past year? What can folks look forward to seeing in the next year?
Well, even before that, and you're absolutely right, theming is a big part of everything that we've done. I think people tend to overlook the $50 million that we put in the ground. You know, all of the utilities, all of the resurfacing, all the parking lots, everything that had to be done, which I realize aren't the sexiest things that people want to talk about, but we had to accomplish that in the very early part of this year in order to be able to build the assets that you're talking about. So go to the fan engagement zone. Today we have Build-A-Bear that's open. In January, Shula's will open, Brew Kettle will open, Topgolf will open. Pizza Oven, we announced, will open shortly after. Visit Canton will have a destination there that will help us market and sell and really talk about what the experience at the Village could be more broadly. And they do that today and do a great job. We're working on a couple of other tenants that we haven't announced yet, but you know, obviously the sports book is a key focus of ours. We've completed that building and now we're anxious for the tenants to get in there and start fitting out. So we're bringing these experiences to life, and even as you talk about the tenants, we've had an overlay, a holiday overlay there. You can walk through there. It feels very holiday-esque. And so throughout the Village, the theming is important, not only from a destination point of view, but paying respect to the holidays. And then as we move forward, we'll do that for other holiday events as well.
So you drive up onto campus today and you see what we call Play Action Plaza, a giant Ferris wheel. The experiences changed dramatically. Talk a little bit more about the different types of interactivities that we've been able to put together this year.
Yeah, we knew that we needed outdoor experiences, right? If you come in this very welcoming way, there are giant video walls, there are statement pieces of architecture that you come into. We're going to theme out the Champions Gateway, so there will be some nice surprises that will be added along the way, another parking lot. You then come to our roundabout with another video board, and then you're surprised by this wonderful waterfall, which has become a huge photo iconic moment for guests going to proms and weddings and other things, and we saw that throughout the year. And then you have the outdoor area, Play Action Plaza. We've added televisions there, we've added an outdoor fire pit there, we've added music there. Now you've got two attractions, the Red Zone, the Ferris wheel, the big wheel, and the zip line, our forward pass. We have a third attraction that we're going to announce in the spring that will be up and running.
So let's move on to the stadium where we're sitting right now in one of our fabulous suites. Talk about some of the opportunities that folks have had to come to be with us, not just for football games, but obviously for some really amazing football experiences over the past year.
Well, I think the stadium is our largest asset by far, and the most unique asset, and it's the coolest asset. I mean, 23,000 seats, NFL certified stadium, and it was built to be able to accommodate so many different kinds of events. We have birthday parties, we have weddings, we have large scale events in here. Right now we're running our winter festival, the Winter Blitz, with two giant tubing sleds that go through a goalpost. Where else can you do that? I would venture to say, I don't know of any other NFL stadium that's doing that. And so the idea was to bring this to life and activate it. And if you look back at this year, USFL playoffs and championships, high school state football championships, women's football championships, organizing the top 10 teams in the country, high school teams, to play a lot of nationally televised events. And this is all in addition to Dave Chappelle and Journey and the other concerts we hosted. Our goal is to have something here almost every single day of the year, no matter if it's winter, summer, fall, spring. The asset itself, I think, will really bring to life. And I talk about it as an attraction and leveraging the stadium, allowing fans to get down there, throw a pass at targets, kick a field goal, do things that they can't do in their everyday lives. It's really important that we bring this to life in a big way.
And we just announced Zach Brown Band coming
Zach Brown
to join us.
Another really big win. We're excited about a lot of concerts that we have planned for this coming year. Those will be announced in the near term as well. But
you've talked about the infrastructure, the tremendous support that it takes to actually get to that point, but we had a couple really significant ribbon cuttings.
Look, the Center for Performance has exceeded my expectations. Frankly, we opened that for enshrinement, and we hosted 3 major events during enshrinement, significant revenue out of there. And almost immediately after that, we had requests for large-scale dinners, wrestling tournaments. We have 110 teams that play in this facility every single day. And I get a lot of Twitter commentary and commentary from social media that guests are seeing the parking lots full. And it's exactly what we knew we needed. Indoor capacity that would allow us to host year-round events, and we're only scratching the surface. So we had a wonderful ribbon cutting there. We broke ground a few weeks ago on our water park, the only football-themed water park in America, 147,000 square feet, something for everybody. We released some really cool indoor images. We're excited to get that going. And I can tell you that I'm personally overseeing, along with Carol Smith, the construction work and the continuing of the evolution of the design, because I think there's some really interesting and new things we'll incorporate into our water park that you may not see in other water parks. So those two were fantastic. And then our Forever Lawn Sports Complex. You know, taking the asset that was hosting already hundreds of thousands of athletes on an annual basis, expanding it. I mean, remember, we were hosting tournaments and we'd have to send a third of the participants off-site to play in other fields. Now we can host even bigger tournaments, but we can do it with a better experience. Cleveland Clinic being our healthcare partner out there with training facilities, concession stands, coaches viewing tower, merchandise sales, everything that you would expect from a world-class destination. I was really proud that we were able to complete that and host even bigger tournaments and create even better experiences for our guests out there. So a lot of things occurred this year. You know, you have to take a breath and say, wow, we actually accomplished all that stuff.
So let's talk about gaming. You touched on that. There is some excitement there. There's a lot of excitement there in Ohio. So how does it happening for our company?
Well, it's coming to life in so many ways. Obviously, our Hall of Fantasy League in its second season, Legends Locker Room, where you can get all that great information to really help you with your fantasy picks and ongoing management of your fantasy team. E-gaming, I just talked about. We're bringing more e-gaming tournaments to life. Fantasy coming to our destination. Now other fantasy leagues are coming and hosting events here as well. Revenue opportunity for us. And then sports betting. And last week I participated, or 2 weeks ago now, I participated in a sports betting panel in Cleveland. And it was really exciting to, you know, I was on the panel with a gentleman from the Guardians and one of the individuals that oversee the Ohio Casino Control Commission. And I think they've been very thoughtful about rolling this out. We're building, of course, our on-site location. That should be open in the summer. And our mobile partner, Day One, Better with Joey Levy and Jake Paul, they're doing incredible things on the micro betting front. And that's why we took a share interest in them. You know, we invested in them, and we also wanted them as our mobile betting partner because we think that that experience is going to be one of a kind. And I can tell you, I do it. It's engaging in a way that I've never been engaged before from a sports betting point of view. And those are the things that, as I envisioned what the company would be involved with, they're going to help us execute that in a big way.
So let's move on to media. Hall of Fame Village Media Company, big excitement happening over the Super Bowl weekend. Maybe talk a little bit about Perfect 10 and what else is on the horizon for the media company.
Yeah, ironically, I just reviewed the final cut of the Perfect 10. It is a fantastic show. I mean, these gentlemen are so authentic and real in how they talk about what they've been able to accomplish, but what the things they've had to overcome, and when they thought the sign of their career was coming to an end. And I remember Tony Dorsett talking about when Dallas drafted Herschel Walker, and it was funny but sad, because you had Earl Campbell say, well, you took somebody else's spot, eventually somebody's taken your spot. Those are the kinds of stories that we are interested in telling and that we have the ability to tell. So the Perfect 10 will do a big activation at Super Bowl. Fox, of course, acquired the distribution rights. We're excited that it's going to be on prime time during Super Bowl week. Media really consists of ideation, going into production, distribution, and then the guests get to see it. We've now got things in all three phases. And so you're seeing it with Football Heaven now being out for distribution. You're seeing it with the Perfect 10, and we'll continue to fill that pipeline with great new shows. I think it's important to note that media has a great runway ahead of it. It just takes the time to get the plane off the ground, and we're now starting to get in the air.
Maybe touch on the podcast, Football Heaven. Pretty exciting, 6 episodes out, 4 more to come.
Yeah, and it's so, again, I like to talk about, genuine storytelling. If you watch Football Heaven, it is that. And I was just reflecting on episode 5, I believe it was, and the stories that these guys are telling in historical black colleges and universities, and some of the adversity that they have to overcome. And you think of college football as one playing field. It's not. And it's still not today. And our company having the ability to give a platform for those kinds of stories, the awareness to be created, and hopefully have an impact on that, is pretty magical. And I was really moved by all of the Hall of Famers and their willingness to be a part of our podcast. Of course, our commentators are fantastic. They have so much depth of football knowledge, and that's the way it should be. Bringing unique stories, different things to life, and I think Football Heaven does that in a very compelling fashion.
Right. So let's switch gears for a moment and talk about financing. 2022, huge year for the company as it relates to capturing the financing needed, several big announcements related to that financing. What would you say, top 3 highlights?
I would go back and remind everyone that if you listen to our quarterly earnings calls last year, one of the things that I reminded people was this was the year that we were going to go after the debt financing. Now you hear, well, gosh, are they bringing on too much debt? Well, no. We're bringing on the debt that we always said we were going to bring on. We brought on $130 million of new equity in the company, and then it was time for the debt. And the debt consists of, commercial debt, private and public placement type of debt. And I think, if you look at what we've done, almost $200 million closing in 1 year in an environment where lenders are not lending to these types of developments. It's a testament to the story, it's a testament to the company, and the ability for the company to create unique assets, create unique experiences, and I think lenders see that. Just recently, we were awarded a fairly large sum of money, and this wasn't a loan, this was a grant, a tax credit grant, from what's called transformational mixed-use development. It's a piece of legislation that was put in effect by Senator Kirk Shearing, who resides here in Canton, Ohio, by the way, to allow for developments that would have an economic impact on Ohio to get financial support. We got almost $16 million from that. And I can tell you the criteria for that are pretty rigorous. And so that's another public entity, the Department of Development, the tax authority, saying, we believe in what you're doing so much, we're willing to give you, several millions of dollars to continue that growth. And so I think we've struck the right balance between commercial and private debt financing. We've been able to maintain our cost of debt financing into the high 6 to low 7% interest rate. Phenomenal as the Fed has continued to increase interest rates. And I think no matter what, we're still an emerging company. We're still a developing company. And so to be able to balance the debt, the interest, and then restructure some of our balance sheet. And when I say that, I mean take some of the debt and extend it out to be much longer term was a huge year for us.
You've coined the term just-in-time financing, and we also have a capital stack that's by design very creative so that we can take advantage of some of the things that you just mentioned. So maybe talk a little bit more about how we've been able to push those, use those instruments to push the timing of some of that debt out and put ourselves as a company in a much better position financially.
I've been in the business for a long period of time. You never go out and take down a $300+ million facility and start paying interest on that when you won't have the assets up and running, generating revenue. You don't do that all at one time. You create an opportunity to bring in the financing as it's needed. And so I think our team has done a successful job at that, but it's been through very closely monitoring and tracking and forecasting when we're going to need the money and where we're going to get the money from.
What does execution look like for 2023? Where are we going? What can folks look forward to seeing? How is the company going to grow into the new year?
Well, I would say we launched gaming, and we launched gaming from a sports betting point in a very successful way. Programming just continues to increase. From 21 to 22, we exponentially increased the amount of programming on property. Now we have more assets. I think our hotel continues to grow and drive great revenue for us. You're going to start seeing assets come out of the ground again. Water park will start to be built. Vertical construction starts. The hotel starts. Vertical construction starts. All of our lovely outdoor attractions start to come to life. You really start to see more things opening and the experiences start to take hold and us becoming a destination. That's the village. Media, 23, you're going to start to see shows. You're going to start to see generation of content and more NFT opportunity, more podcast, more long form, short form content. Gaming, the same thing. We're going to amp up e-gaming. It's really taking what we've done and continuing to build upon that. Now, can there be some other surprises along the way? Sure. There are things that we're looking at from a strategic planning point of view that extend beyond what we've been talking about. Master planning for phase 3, is part of what 23 will bring, and we'll start to talk about that a little bit more. But it's really execution, growth, and getting people to understand how the experiences and the assets that we're creating are really one of a kind and they can enjoy.
All I want for Christmas, Michael Crawford, is?
I would just really like to have everybody know that we're focused on everyone's happiness. Health and happiness at this time of the year are most important. Appreciate the fact that we're trying to create experiences both virtually and physically that will entertain and make people happy. We want to make sure, even over Christmas, that as we launch into 23, we do it in a very successful way. January 1, sports betting starts, right? And so we want to have an opportunity for everybody to be happy, everybody to enjoy, what we've been able to do as a company for sure and reflect on that, but then look forward to a fantastic new year.
Thank you so much. We want to thank each and every one of you for all of your continued support. We wish you all health, happiness, and a wonderful new year.